So, you tell me, is Donald Trump actually running America? Or is he just a guy whose name is on the box? You know, the guy who they let sit in the big chair so that he feels important. Increasingly, evidence seems to show that the steering wheel isn't really in his hands, and maybe it never has been. He's like the toddler driving from the back seat in his baby chair with a toy steering wheel. You know, we've all heard the phrase, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It originates from The Wizard of Oz. It's a request to ignore the actual mechanics and the person controlling an illusion, and instead focus on the perceived, powerful figure who they're putting out front. The phrase is an idiom, meaning to disregard the true source or reality of something, and instead focus on the deceptive or superficial appearance. Is Trump the man in front of the curtain? The guy they wheel out for rallies and TV shows and news conferences while the real decisions all happen behind the scene? If you judge by his attention span, his grasp of facts, and his chaotic behavior, well, let's just say, if he's the captain, this boat would have sunk a long time ago. Now, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but maybe it's time that we started listening to and considering some. Here's a great clip that I found recently while doing my research for this video.
I'm really interested in what's actually going behind the scenes with Vance and the rest of them, because they're all preparing for a post-Trump world, right?
They're not preparing for a post-Trump world. We're in a post-Trump world. You're kidding yourself if you think Trump has been in charge of any of this. I mean, the man barely knows how to read or write. He's a puppet. So clearly not in charge of anything. And the thing is that he's so easy to control because he's so deeply in debt to everyone. He is nothing. So it makes sense that he'd have to be reliant on all of these other people to be pulling on the strings for him because truly he's been a broke man his entire life. Think about it. Name one thing that Trump has built or made that has sustained his wealth. That's right, nothing. Because he's not a wealthy man. He's a very poor man who owes a lot of people favors for the money that they've had to bail him out with. Do you really think this guy knows one word to that 1,000-page big beautiful bill that he just had signed on July 4th? All of that tech language, surveillance frameworks, AI governance, you think Trump wrote any of that? Like maybe he wrote the title. But that's it. When I think back to the moment where I realized who was really running the country, and I mean like really new, was probably February 7th, 2025. When they locked Congress out of the Department of Education. Yeah, remember that? Remember when Elon Musk took a bunch of his spring interns and just walked in there, flipped the locks, and just started scraping all of this data to feed into Palantir? Meanwhile, all of our elected representatives just stood outside, tapping on the windows, being like, hey, this isn't cool. Let us in. J.D. Vance's seat in the White House was purchased by Peter Thiel. Donald Trump's seat in the White House was purchased by Elon Musk. Doge was really important to Palantir, and Palantir is really important to Oracle because of all the data centers they're building. And it's like, this is why it's so frustrating whenever I hear people talking about all of these different projects as if they're different pieces to different machines. Like, this is all one fucking machine. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, but what's being built here is so far beyond free market capitalism. This is beyond monopolization. This is straight up techno-feudalism. Now they have a political environment where it's completely normal for tech billionaires to sit front row during inaugurations, where government efficiency can just be outsourced to private companies, where data collection on citizens is just the price of doing business. Trump did his work as the puppet. He made all of this seem routine instead of alarming. Hell, maybe that's why they're speedrunning all of this. Maybe he's not meant to actually last the full 4 years. Maybe he is on his way out, because they don't need him anymore. They just need the conditions that he's normalized. And you can see it happening. MAGA is splitting. Like, these are the exact conditions that Elon Musk created for this third party that he keeps floating on Twitter. These dots are all connected. These people are all connected, and we need to practice saying that out loud. Like, professional journalists need to practice saying this out loud. No shade to Kara Swisher, by the way. Like, I fully bow down to her. Like, she's been reporting on these Silicon Valley assholes since before I could even talk. I just feel like I want to start hearing more of these journalists say this kind of stuff out loud so that we all feel a little less crazy, or at least selfishly I feel less crazy. Come on, what do you mean you wonder what J.D. Vance is thinking? He's never had an original thought a day in his life. Like, he just sits there quietly because he knows exactly who's writing the script. Mark my words, J.D. Vance is going to be our next president. Or whatever Peter Thiel ends up calling that position.
That's wonderful. That was a young woman named Audrey Henson. She's very active on TikTok, but her presence here on YouTube is a lot smaller. Go visit her channel and subscribe. Now, that's after you've subscribed to this channel, of course. She's got some great stuff. Now, let's think about it. Trump can't even sit through his daily intelligence briefings without getting bored. Officials have to strip them down to a few bullet points and use big, colorful graphs and charts just to keep him interested. Reading briefs and updates? Forget it. His aides learned early on that if it's anything more than a page, it's not getting read by Trump. And when he does talk about policy, which is rarely, it's, well, rough. He mixes up the national debt with the trade deficit. He calls Belgium a beautiful city. Once asked if Finland was a part of Russia. Remember when he suggested raking forests to stop wildfires? Or that we could stop COVID by injecting people with bleach? This isn't strategic thinking. This is guy who only skimmed the Wikipedia article thinking. No, this is not a smart man, not the one who pulls the levers. Without a teleprompter, Trump rallies turn into something between a late-night infomercial and your crazy uncle's Facebook feed. He'll start on immigration, detour into dishwashers, jump to personal grudges from 1987, and end up talking about light bulbs or whales or windmills. Sometimes he just loses the words completely, like the oranges of the investigation. I guess oranges was on break that day. Even when the country is in a crisis, he's not in the room. During hurricanes, pandemic briefings, national security meetings, insiders say he often steers the conversation right back to his TV coverage or his poll numbers. Major legislation? He's left it all to Congress and then blasted the results on Twitter like as if he was a part of the process, which he never was. Trump's not a strategist. He's a weather vane. One phone call from a celebrity or a flattering segment on Fox News, and he'll flip his position on an issue overnight. Remember the whole transgender troop ban? That wasn't planned by anybody. It was a spur-of-the-moment tweet, catching the Pentagon and the armed forces completely off guard. So, is Donald Trump actually running America? I am starting to seriously doubt that. Project 2025, which Donald Trump said he'd never heard of in his life during the elections. In the first 6 months, more than 45% of the criteria from that project, proposals from that, have been implemented. Someone is driving and driving hard. And I refuse to accept that Donald Trump is intelligent enough to pull off something that effectively. He never was able to do so in business. I don't see why he should have been able to now. So, what do you think? Go to the comments and tell me, who do you think is actually running America? The oligarchy? Hell, the Putin? It's not the Republican Party, that's for sure. So who is running it? I'd like to hear from you. Tell me about it, and we'll research it and expand on that. Thanks for watching. If you found this video thought-provoking, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially from Canadians and Americans who may be watching this side by side. Until next time, stay informed, stay loud, and stay decent. Here are a few other videos that you may enjoy. Have a great week.